Hello and welcome to episode 38 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark, and yes, it's only been a week since my last episode, my special with Brian Blessed, but we've skipped the end, which is my main other podcast, which is a movie-based podcast taking a 3-week break. I know a lot of those listeners tune in for Mark and Me, and with us having that bit of a gap, I thought I would fill it with a nice slice of Mark and Me. So here I am with a brand new episode. And joining me on today's episode is my youngest guest yet. I'm joined by Noah Jupe. You may know him from sort of TV such as Downton Abbey or Penny Dreadful, but he's also been in a lot of films, and big films. So a couple of years ago he was in Suburbicon, last year he was in Wonder, and this year he's in my favourite movie of the year, A Quiet Place. A horror that completely blew me away, and I'm so glad it did so well. If you haven't seen this film, it's unbelievable. I'm a bit of an old man, and when I go to the cinema I get annoyed with these people kind of talking and rustling crisp packets all the way through, but it just annoys me. I just want to enjoy a film. So when I went to see A Quiet Place, it was so unique. Everyone in this sold out screen was silent, and I'm talking you could hear a pin drop for probably 80% of the film. It drew your attention, and I'm so glad that people respected it because it's such a well-made horror film, and not many people do this right now. There's a market flooded with bad horrors, but this one stood out, and it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, I feel bad because I wish you got to see it in the cinema, but it is out to buy on DVD and Blu-ray on August the 13th, so seriously, go and do it. You won't regret it. And tweet me or Facebook me your comments because I'm sure you'll love this film. I also just want to kind of mention the last episode. So at the start I said it's only been a week. The Brian Blessed interview was fantastic. I had so many good comments. This followed Mads Mikkelsen, and that's a big name. And I was kind of worried, thinking I hope people still tune in because it's not a name as big as Mads Mikkelsen right now in the business. But people bloody loved Brian, and I'm so grateful. He had so many good stories to tell, and to kind of sit there and read these comments on Twitter and Facebook about how much you loved his animal stories and his kind of character and what he was saying about Star Wars and working with George Lucas, people loved, and that's what I really was hoping for, because I was sitting here gleaming and smiling away at listening to these stories as they were taking place. So to know that you all enjoyed it is a dream come true for me. So like I said, today's episode is my youngest ever guest, Noah Jupe, and here he is talking all things about his career so far. So Noah, obviously at the age of 13, you're starting out an acting career very young. What was it that made you want to be an actor?
I just always loved the idea of being in someone else's shoes. It's so cool when you get to be all these different characters and experience their lives, and every time when I'm filming a movie and I go to bed, I just think of all the backstory of my character, and you can just get into so much detail about all the little things. And that's what I love doing, and I love just, role playing and using my imagination.
Amazing. So how long ago was it that you kind of thought, do you know what? I want to be an actor.
Yeah, so I think it was about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Where I got my first job, but I had been doing auditions. But basically, on my first job, when I finished it, I cried all the way home. That's when I was like, right, I know this is what I want to do, because I just loved it so much, and I just felt at home there,
A few years back, what were the sort of films you were watching that made you want to be an actor? Was there certain actors or films that you were watching that made you think, that's what I want to do?
Yeah, I've been really inspired by people like Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon and everyone, but one film that really made me want to do it was Stand By Me.
Amazing.
Which I found incredible, and I loved it, and I was like, I want to be in something like that one day.
I mean, that's a great film, and the thing is, you've got really good young actors like Corey Feldman back then and Corey Haim that were young. Hopefully, is that the sort of career you'd like?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what sort of films that you would love to star in now? Because obviously you've got a few films under your belt. Is there certain films that you'd like to kind of be cast in, or would you like to be in something like Stranger Things or something like that?
I can't really say what I would want to be casting, because it's difficult because I just want to be in something far away from who I am, and like something that's a challenge and something that's like you have to work for and you have to work to kind of get the character and stuff. But yeah, I couldn't say like I would want to be in something that's like not been done before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. When I first saw you, it was in the TV show Penny Dreadful from 3 years ago. How was that, working on a scale of such a big budget and such a big TV show?
Well, obviously at the time I had no idea what this series is, but like now I understand how big it was. And it was just, fun because my parents were going, wow, you're meeting these big actors like, Eva Green and whatnot. And so when I got on set, it was just fun because they were just meeting people and seeing them act. I was only in one scene. It was quick and short, but it was fun to be a part of it.
It's a nice one for your IMDb page, isn't it, to see that on there?
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously you were in one of the most successful TV shows of all time in Britain, so Downton Abbey. I mean, that must be something that maybe your parents or grandparents were very proud to see you in.
Yeah, I definitely have heard of that one before I was in it. But you know what? It was fun, and it was just, I like just being kind of hidden in it instead of the main character in some things. Just like turning up one day, seeing all the set, meeting all the people, and then leaving. And then watching it was really fun as well because I got my family around and we all watched it together, and it just like trying to spot me where I was.
And then one of your first major films was a film that a lot of people really fell in love with, the film Wonder. How did you find adjusting from kind of a TV show to a film?
It's actually kind of quite the same.
Yeah?
I mean, I've never really done a full-on TV show where I've been in almost like every episode. I've only done kind of small parts in TV shows.
Yeah.
But what I've experienced, they're kind of quite the same,
Yeah, so with a film like that, and obviously it was a big budget, you had people like Owen Wilson in it and stuff like that. Was it kind of daunting? Was it scary to be on set, or was it not too bad?
It wasn't too bad because they're all real people, so it's just nice to meet them, and it's kind of awesome to see how they work and how they have become, known for what they do.
So is that how you kind of set your mind that you'd like to kind of follow in their footsteps?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so most recently you starred in one of the biggest films of the year, A Quiet Place. Now that is a big role. That's something you were committed to. You had to be on set, daily. You had a huge part in that, being, the son of the family. Now, how did it come about that you got involved in that film?
I think I just filmed, or I just finished, and I was just got off Suburbicon as well, and yeah. I was, I didn't have much coming up, and John wanted to meet me, because I think something happened and he heard about me, so he was like, okay, I want to meet this kid. So we went out for dinner at an Italian restaurant in London because he was there for Emily because she was doing Mary Poppins. So we went out, met there, and he talked to me about the script, and we talked, and we had a really great chat, and I really loved him, and I really, wanted to work with him. And then a couple of weeks later, maybe a week later or something, he asked me to be in the movie.
So was it a case that you did you have to go to an audition or read any lines, or was it just a case of you had this?
No, it was fun, but it felt kind of nicer than an audition because we talked and he saw me instead of saw me playing a character. So he saw my ideas, and it felt so much more calm. I wasn't getting worked up over remembering my lines or whatever. So it was really fun.
So what sort of stuff did you discuss? Because that's obviously very different. Not many directors go out for an Italian meal and then cast someone in a film. Was it just a case of...
Yeah.
Did he tell you about the film and the script, or were you just talking about ideas, or...
Well, we got sent the script. So
yeah.
We read the script, and he was just talking, about how he was going to shoot it, And then, like, ideas about changing things in it, and ideas about the silent, how they keep silent. And I was asking questions about what if they sneeze, what would they do? You were saying, well, they'd have like a certain like gas mask, so when you just have it in like your back pocket or whatever. And we just came up with all these ideas, and I was like, wow, he's really, really thought about this. This is like going to be an incredible movie because it's like so detailed. So that's why I really wanted to be in it.
So what was your first thoughts then when you got sent the script and you read it? Because obviously the script doesn't have that much dialogue. There's not many lines to learn because most of it is silence, and that's what makes the film such a unique and such an impact when you're watching it. So what was it like reading the script?
It was great because he is really detailed, as I said before. He describes things in a way that you can just picture it in your head. So I kind of enjoyed reading, dialogue and just description, and it felt more like you could see the characters more clearly.
Yeah.
In a way.
Then obviously when it got to filming the actual movie itself, I don't think you'll ever work on anything like that ever again because of the impact of the silence and the way it's done and the sign language and everything. How was it? It must have been very unique.
Yeah, it was. It was really unique, and like people always ask me if it was scary, and it was not at all. It was really lovely, and it felt really safe. And everyone on the crew was just beautiful, and it was not only a unique idea and not only a unique movie, but also unique making it.
I mean, do you think that helps with the fact that John obviously cast his wife, Emily, in it? So it's like a family being on set instead of just a bunch of strangers, yeah.
Yeah, it felt so much like it felt more at home with them both on set. And they did so well together. They were like, they knew exactly what each other wanted, and they were always talking and always sharing ideas, and they weren't afraid to say what they feel, and it felt great because the lead actor and the director had a connection like that, so it just worked so much quicker and it went so much faster.
It must be amazing. I mean, if you can direct each other and have that understanding and respect on set and then still go home as husband and wife and it all works, then I think that's probably the perfect marriage.
Yeah, definitely. And we saw their home as well, and their kids are beautiful. I got on really well with them, and it felt so much like home, so far away from my actual home.
I think that's what made it so good as well, because, I genuinely believed watching it that the three children were the real kids of these adults in the film, the chemistry you guys had, and I think that might be because of the silence. I think it might be because of the bond of being there for the daughter and the loss and everything, but you just gelled. You just seemed to be like you'd been family member for years. Yeah. It's amazing.
Especially like me and Millie.
Yeah.
Got on so well because we were both from different parts of the world, and we were both coming to somewhere we'd never been before. So, it was we were staying in the same hotel, we always hung out, we were always like, every morning I'd get up, I'd get ready, and I'd go down to see Millie, and then we'd hang out, and then we'd go to set, then we'd come back, watch a movie, and go to bed, and it felt like, when I left her, it felt like something was missing in me, because me and her got on so well.
So when was the first time that you were lucky enough to watch the film back? Was it at a press screening, or was it at the premiere, or did you get to see a cut of it quite early on?
Well, no, I saw it as the public saw it. I saw the trailers, and then I saw it at South by Southwest. Was the first time I really sat down and watched the whole thing.
And what was your reaction? Because you must have been like, the first time I saw it, obviously I wasn't in the film, but I remember watching it, and that first scene on the bridge where your brother gets attacked, and that just blew my mind.
Yeah, and it did me as well, because, when you're filming in it, it feels really safe. I'm like, how can this be a scary movie?
Yeah.
And then they add the monster in, and then they add, they cut it all together, and I was jumping at the things that I knew were about to happen. Do you know what I mean? And also, seeing it with such an incredible crowd, because it was South by Southwest. Everyone was there to watch the movie. Everyone was excited. Everyone was, really enjoying it. And, every time there was something, scary, everyone would go, or, clap, and it was just great to see it in that way.
I mean, when the film actually came out, did you expect the response it had? Because full respect to John and Emily and everyone involved, it's a fantastic film, but horror is a hard one to get right, and it's, in the last few years we've been lucky enough to have stuff like It, and now we've got Hereditary, but this was one of the biggest films of the last 12 months, and everybody I know went to see it. You must have been blown away.
Yeah, it was really cool to be a part of it, and also it's not just a horror. It's got lots of different, as you said before, it's unique. It's got lots of different things, and I thought to myself it could either be kind of a bit off, or it could be incredible. And I think people, took it as an incredible movie, and so that's why I was really excited. I was really happy that I was a part of it, and I technically kind of helped create it in a way.
Definitely, and what the best thing about it was is, as a member of the public going to see it in the cinema, is when you go to the cinema now, there's a lot of idiots always being noisy and getting their phones out and eating loud snacks. This is the first time I've been to the cinema in probably 10 years where everyone was respectful, everyone was silent, you could hear a pin drop, and I think that needs credit itself.
Yeah, it's funny because if A Quiet Place 2 ever comes out, I don't know what's going to happen, but they should make, special A Quiet Place snacks.
Yeah.
Because, every time you went in the cinema, because I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times now, because I've gone with all my friends and stuff. When you go in, you can hear everyone in the room eating or drinking or coughing, and it's it's hard when it's because the movie's so silent.
It's good though, I like it. I love the fact that people weren't sitting there having, the last thing you want is someone eating something noisy like celery or something in the cinema.
Yeah.
It was really quiet. But you just mentioned then, there is talk at the moment of there being a sequel, obviously with the success of the last film. How do you feel about that? Was that something you think, because it is left open, at the end it's the mother there with the children still, they're coming to attack, she's ready for them. Do you feel like it needs another film, or are you happy with it just being a standalone movie?
I'm really happy with it being a standalone movie. I really have no idea what's going to happen in the future and how they're going to do it. I haven't had any word from anyone about asking me to do anything, so I don't know. But me and Millie were always talking about what if they did a second movie, what would it be? And then, we were thinking of maybe a movie set in New York City where, the monsters attack, take over New York City. So maybe a prequel to that. Or, I don't know, but something like that would be really, really great. So I have no idea. But I mean, I think it could definitely have a sequel, but I don't know.
It's interesting because in New York you wouldn't be able to stay silent, so I'd love the idea of it just blowing up and everyone going mad and trying to survive.
Exactly.
And what have you got coming up in the next few weeks? Is there anything that you're now looking at doing, or are you filming anything at the moment, or how's the rest of the year?
I've just finished filming Honey Boy last week, so I'm back home in my house in England. I'm going in a month to start filming a movie called Ford versus Ferrari with Christian Bale, and that's going to be fun. It's with racing cars, and I love racing cars. That'll be great to do and see how it's all made.
Christian Bale's one of the best actors on the planet, so to get to work with him is going to be amazing.
I know, it's going to be great.
Well, thanks for your time again. It's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the luck with the films that you've got coming up.
All right, thank you.
So there's my interview with Noah. A nice, short, snappy interview, and I kind of hope a lot of my listeners are either on the way to work or on a journey in a car or on a bus, and it's just a short, snappy episode that gives you that kind of insight to his career so far. He's such a young actor and he has a massive future ahead of him. I strongly believe that in a few years' time, he will be one of the biggest names in Hollywood, and people will be saying to me, "Wow, you got to interview Noah Jupe," and I'll be like, "Yeah, honestly, I knew he'd be one to watch. I'm that confident." His next film is going to be working with Christian Bale, and he must be absolutely buzzing. Such an excitement in his voice that you could hear on this interview, and I wish him all the luck because I really think he's going to go so far. I just want to say as well, if you've enjoyed today's podcast, jump on markandme.com. Let me know. My email address is on there, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. I read every single comment that comes through, and I really do appreciate them all, so please keep them coming. If you love the podcast, it does help that if you sign up to my Patreon, I get a little bit of money. It's only like, you can sign up for as little as 60-70p a month, and that does help go into hosting the podcast, which I've just signed for another year. Even more bandwidth after Mads Mikkelsen. It kind of filled up about a 6-month allocation in a week, but I'm not complaining. It's good that you're all joining in. But also it gives me a chance to travel and go and do more face-to-face interviews with people across the UK, but even further if I can. So go on to markandme.com, my Patreon page is on there, and anything you can give is much appreciated and goes all straight back into doing more and more podcasts. I will be back, not in a week this time because Skip to the End's back next week, so I'll take another week out and then I'll come back in a couple of weeks with a brand new Mark and Me. Remember, if you are on my social media, you can start guessing at the next guests because I'll be putting pictures and photos and little hints and clues out there. But I want to say thanks again for supporting the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I'll speak to you all again in a couple of weeks' time. Take care.